Chris Moss. I'm an artist in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm this week's studio visit artist with I Like Your Work, as well as some work that was in one of my more recent exhibitions, and also some unfinished work. I tend to work in a way where there's older work out, and I'm sort of looking at it. I don't hide away the older work. I think everything sort of feeds something. Often an older work will sit in the studio, and it'll be one of those ones that really bothers me, and those tend to get remade into newer works. These are small paintings here that I've been working on for probably a couple of months, on and off. They're not interesting yet. I don't even really have anything to say about them. This spot over here is one of my horizontal workstations. I tend to work flat on work, large work, medium-sized work, small work. It almost always gets finished or worked on flat. It's because I use paint materials I do a lot of pouring, and that requires a flat surface. A lot of pouring, a lot of wet media application that sort of needs to dry as if it was a watercolor and not sort of hanging on a wall like an oil painting. Right now I'm working on a commission of making a head, sort of a pillow head is what I call them. And sort of like this guy. These are nearing the initial stage of completion. I'm looking for a really smooth surface on these, and then they'll get painted. I'm not exactly sure how they'll get painted. I do think they'll get a sort of wall treatment, so maybe a popcorn finish, or one of those really detestable stucco finishes, something like that. I think I use a lot of interior paint applications in here. I use a lot of crackle paste, which is an antiquing material. This is an area of the studio that has another flat horizontal working area. Over the years, I've collected buckets and boxes full of sort of paint trinkets, from trinkets that I find on the ground to things that I buy at dollar stores or sort of roadside attractions that just sell, distractions for your children or whatever. I also end up making a lot of these things. Some of this is just sort of things that I made on a glass palette, trying to make objects for paintings. I think one of the interesting things paint companies seem to be doing with acrylic paint that they weren't doing with oil paint is moving it into a sculptural area. And so I feel like my work is also just sort of walking around the outer boundaries of this sort of sculpture painting field. These things probably won't ever become part of a painting. I have no idea. They might. I can't say never. But I think it's important to have an area in the studio where you just play. Thanks for touring my studio with me for I Like Your Work. You can find out more about my work at christophermoss.biz, and you can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Hop the Scissor. You can read a full interview about my work and the rest of my practice on ilikeyourwork.com/studio visit artist. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Hi, thanks for coming. Thank you for touring my studio.